Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and now let's talk Centaur no Nayami, or Centaur Worries. So guys, this episode continues the slice of life fun little romp that is Centaur, and it keeps doing things kind of the way that the first episode did it. And in the same way for the first episode, I find myself enjoying the second half of the episode more than I do the first half. It seems like the first half is specifically revolving around like the girls particular dynamics a day in their life, and then the second half kind of revolves around world building. I kind of like that balance. If they're gonna do that, I enjoy that balance. It's pretty neat. I think it's cool. Now, if there was something that I would use, or if there were words that I would use to describe this episode, it'd be nuance and subtlety, guys. Nuance and subtlety. I really enjoyed it. So I'm just gonna say, start off with this part first because it's only really 2 or 3 lines that really lead into this part. But I really enjoyed how they handled the relationships that were kind of being shown in the series, or how, you know, they just accepted it, how they just kind of like acknowledged it and moved on. I really appreciated that, and we got that with the mermaid pair that showed up at the end of the episode, or the mermaid and the boy, and then we had that with the 2 girls that were prevalent in the first half of the episode and then popped up very quickly in the second half when they were talking about the angel wings and all that. So I really just enjoyed that. That was actually like very nice. That was refreshing. So I enjoyed that. But overall, Centaur, it keeps going with its general slice of life things. The first half, you know, we're going through just one friend doing her best to cover for her friend who just went and did modeling because there was a exploitive friend of a mother who got involved and just had her pose and model and all that. So, you know, that whole part's just girl problems, just a day in the life of a high school student in Japan where you can't work part-time, and it gets solved relatively easily. It's just friends will be friends and they won't screw each other over. Like, who would have thought, right? Of course, you get a lot of jokes about whether or not a Shota looking girl can look cute and look like a girl after all. And you know, that joke was prevalent throughout the episode, because then when we're in the mermaid half of the episode, you have everyone wondering, or you have the mermaids wondering if that person is actually a girl. That was really funny overall. Now the second half of the episode is the one that's actually pretty interesting when it comes to the, I guess, the underlying themes of this series. We got a little bit of it in the first half of the episode when we had the girls talking about, yeah, snake people have a right to be in the magazine. They have a right to appear in the magazine because there's a few readers, and, you know, anti-discrimination, so they have a right. But then the second episode is the one that picks up on that thread overall from the last episode, and we have a situation where like Kyoko is still mentioning that it wouldn't be so bad if she is just resting on Hime's body and not fully riding on Hime's body. So again, like, they're still worrying about those discrimination things going on. And also in that second half, we got a little bit of information regarding evolution and things, how the angels, they think that they grew their wings, or a theory was to like keep them warm or something along those lines. It was pretty interesting little things. And then like the second half of the episode is the one that's just really interesting, right? Because it goes a lot of spots. We start off with the girls in winter. We jump over to the girls in a flashback at the mermaid school, and then we jump to another couple, or we jump to a pair of childhood friends in the last little bit of that second half. Now, really, I think the part where they're at the mermaid school, I thought that was very enjoyable. It was cool. One of the things that was slightly disturbing is that when the kids got there, there was an armed guard standing outside of that door, or standing inside that door. Well, there was like a military personnel there. That's odd, man. That's so odd. What's going on? It's just like, man, they're really hardcore with this kind of stuff. And this is just like one of those things again where they're showing like, hey, this is serious business. No discrimination. We do not want any of these kids to be harmed in any way. Anyway, we go through that. We meet the mermaids in general, how they call the other people mountain folk, and these mermaids are aquatic folk, river folk, or whatever. We go and we see their lessons. We see their classroom. It's like, okay, it's full of water, and like they bring it down because like there's kids there, and we see that the mermaids have their tails. They still have more leg than you would have thought, and this was something that we saw in the picture from the last episode. But I'm glad that we get to see it now and just see that, yeah, they have their tails starting at almost where their feet are, and that's an interesting way of having mermaids here. That means that they are a lot longer than traditional mermaids. Anyway, we go through the episode and we find out that the mermaids do enjoy irregular features. They enjoy big bodies. They enjoyed the kind of closed eyes that Kyoko has, and that was very interesting overall, how like they have this general idea of what's normal to them, and then when they see something exotic, they are kind of all over it. They were all over Hime, they were all over of Neko, the big boy, and then they were all over Kyoko. Overall, you know, that half of the episode was pretty interesting. It was pretty entertaining. The only other thing I have to say about that particular part is why was the teacher not in bathing suit gear? I think that's I don't know. I think he could afford to like wear like a one-piece suit. I mean, why come in a suit? Anyway, that part of the episode was very enjoyable. Then we go into like the last, I guess, third of the second half of that episode, where we kind of meet a person who's living with a mer person on land and just their life, and it was very interesting. It's very interesting how the episode chose to start off in winter, go into a flashback about mermaids, and then segue into a slice of life for a mermaid and a boy who are childhood friends. And you know what? I really enjoyed that part. You know, the girls that they ran into were talking about the possibility or alluding, yeah, this is all that they really need to be in a relationship. And then I think what really sold me on this little bit is because we kind of see that the mer person, the girl, is just kind of struggling with not being able to walk. And we see that her friend is the one that carries her everywhere. And so, you know, she's looking up a device, and by the end of the episode she's considering buying the device, and then the boy only like makes like just a concerned face. He makes a concerned face, and the girl ultimately opts to like, yeah, maybe it is too much money. I thought that was very heartwarming. You know, that was nice. That was like very well done, man. You didn't have to say what was going on there. You just had to like have these two people interacting like that, and it's like, it's all worthy. Like, that's cute. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm thinking about. It was just a very nice little segment. Overall, like if you look at that second half, it's very disjointed. But in terms of information that it's providing, and in terms of reaching the quota of a slice of life show, I think it did really well. Now, those are my overall thoughts about this week's episode. For this series, it's a bit mellow, right? It's a series that you could probably just sit down and just watch and just kind of like just see these people's lives. And at that point, it's like, it really depends on what kind of viewer you are, but I think this is the general tone that we're going to be getting for the rest of the episodes. Probably an episode, a half that is revolving around a day in the life of the girls, and then a second half that revolves around maybe more exposition and world building. And then in between those two halves, there's just a lot of little details sprinkled in to kind of just give you a better idea of what's going on in this world, what are the rules that we're dealing with. So, you know, it's very much more a series that you watch and just have fun with, and maybe like talk about with friends, over a series that you go in and you're super excited to see every week. You know, it's definitely for different people. Whether or not I'll continue covering this series, it really depends. My Mondays are usually kind of like free, so I might just be able to do it on Mondays. Anyway, guys, let me know what you thought of the episode, if you have any opinions or thoughts, and let me know if you like this series in general, you want me to keep talking about it. Just leave a like, and I'll take that as a sign. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Till next time, I hope you have a great day.